Hey, ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Conor,
And I'm Ring Ruel, low, low, low.
and folks, it is Tuesday, which means that it's time for some more Steel Division Season 2. Now, today, on that beautifully open map of Carpet Duelists, Rang, who do we have duking it out from the Asia Veteran Division?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves Potts, also known as Oceans, playing as the 2nd Infantry Division. And on the right-hand side in red, we have ourselves Harry Spider as the Paris Division. And I just want to make sure what time you're at, Con.
Yeah, 310 right now.
310, cool. And
Alrighty.
311,
Indeed.
313, 14.
Yep, 14,
Cool.
15.
I just
Yeah.
had to go in the options. But nonetheless, let's get back to
All
the
right,
game.
fair enough. All right, folks, that was a little bit of extra accounting for you. We are doing the whole Sesame Street thing here today, but we have two infantry divisions. So infantry, obviously, lots of foot. Here's the
Yeah.
question, though: armored vehicles early on. We have the DD tanks and we have the Pumas over here for Großfestung. Who had the advantage?
I'd say it's really, yeah, second really has the advantage, as you have the DDs, which are great, and this is a very open map, so tanks are going to be very important. You also have the M7 DDs, which
good
are
point.
pretty bloody good, as one up north. And also as well, 2nd Infantry has Ranger support, which are great machine gun teams, which is going to help out. While Paris kind of favours a bit more close quarters combat in the early stages, so they can maneuver around and use, beefy Bavarians all over the place.
That is fair, but here's my question then after that. Yes, the early, as they close the distance, we're definitely going to see the second have some advantage here. And you can see the early breakouts now very passive, I would say, on the south, of course, on both sides.
Yeah.
But as the range closes, should we just see the hairy spider kind of reach out with all 8 of his legs and try to get in nice and tight? Or do you think he's going to stay at range?
I think longer, just throughout as the game goes on, Hairy Spider really has an advantage. As way face, you can get bloody panthers and tigers, and yeah, it's all really gonna come down to using that Puma, because that Puma is gonna be a real make it or break. It's gonna be tough to use as there's no Sherman DDs at the moment, but even then, there's AT guns in the field, and Pumas don't like being shot at by AT guns.
Well, and that's the other thing we didn't really talk about either, is that really the AT advantage is still on that American side.
Yeah. It's much more consistent.
Yes, please.
It's much more consistent, like most things for the Americans compared to Paris Division.
Well, yes, of course. That's pretty easy to be more consistent when the opposing side just has a a mishmash of whatever's left.
Yeah.
But yep, there we go. Ranger Marauders. Actually, we didn't even talk about these guys, but these guys, of course, recon optics. They're nice and quiet. They have a lot of stealth, and good lord, can they get close and just wreck days?
Yeah, they're really bloody good, and you can't go wrong with a 2-star bazooka.
That's true. That's true. It's only barely better than a 2-star Piat, but that's still better.
Yeah, so up north we got rifles, really all just rifles, no rangers up north. That is an interesting choice. It kind of makes sense. You can just want them to run around and be meat shields in rifles of double the HP compared to rangers. And on the back he has the 76mm gun, he has the M7DD, so he has a pretty good fire support line, and he doesn't have to worry about artillery too much because it's Paris Division. So he's going to really hold his open ground, Joe. Up north we see Harry Spider. He's just slowly chugging along to his L-shape woodland here. Trying to
You
get
mean
into
towards his
position.
death?
Towards his death,
This,
yeah.
he's going to sit there, and oh my gosh, he even has line of sight. First shot almost takes out the Vanguard by itself. It must have exploded right next to that poor vehicle. Off Clara pop on out. No, there is one problem though. If the 2nd Infantry doesn't start with all the Rangers, then how can they lead the way?
You're gonna have to lead the raid with just regular rifles, it seems, and just using their fire support. It's definitely rather interesting. Also, kind of helps him out too, because he can just save him till later game where you kind of need to have a bit of the edge for 2nd Infantry. But yeah, up north, just got the Bavarians, and it's like a very slow death blob of everything up north. If he can get a Pak 38 in position, he could potentially knock out an M7DD, which would be a pretty big deal.
Very true, but here's the question then. So what's the strategy? What is the Festung trying to do? I mean, this runs very much counter to conventional wisdom. Instead of pinching out towards the boundaries, it looks like he's trying to curve back around and maybe make a pocket. Does that seem the right read? Or
yeah, he's like a daddy long legs at the moment, and he's just getting his corner in the room for himself and setting set himself up to success before he jumps out on the owners and scare the shit out of them.
True, but there's a problem with that analogy, though. The daddy
Mm-hmm.
longlegs is not,
Technically a
well,
spider.
well, that too, but I was even thinking more so than that is the fact that the daddy longlegs has two tiny fangs that actually bite human beings.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, I guess he has like a black ritter as a best friend, helping out
oh, okay.
too. Like his J-U-N-E-88, for
Oh,
example.
yes, here we go.
And it's not gonna kill much, but it's gonna definitely scare the crap out of that DD. He really does not like that DD. That makes sense. And here's the Pack 38. Oh, this is perfect follow-up shots. Anchor.
There we go.
Boom. That's bang on for Paris Division.
Well, the nice thing about this too is that the 76mm has wasted a lot of its ammunition on these infantry squads to the east, and it's not going to do a whole lot.
Nope.
As you can see right now, firing after the last round, one more round. Yeah, he's got one more round, and then it's going to basically be just krauts from here all the way back to the buffet.
Yeah, it's just a 17 pounder now.
Yes, it is. You know, down to the south, we are seeing surprisingly aggressive play. I say surprisingly because, of course, as always, we usually just seem to see, well, a lot of passivity. A lot of players don't want to go and get connected on those multiple different fronts. And wow, we're actually seeing some short fire coming out of that one mortar, so that was a little strange.
Mm-hmm. But this is pretty good. I mean, this is during the classic send the infantry in front. The smart staff has his lone Puma. Does most of the damage. There is 107mm mortars getting some good hits. Forcing out a 50mm mortar to stop shooting. Damn, that one shot completely scared that Bavarian squad. That is pretty deadly.
Well, speaking of 107s, look at the north as well, because that one mortar has completely and totally stoppered up that push.
He's got the newspaper.
Yes, he does.
And he's just crossing them from above.
Well, I was trying to think of an 11 comment. We haven't quite gotten there yet. I'm sure we'll get one of those soon.
Yeah.
The south of the first of the DD tanks thing is that Puma still up? Yes, it is. And that 57mm is very much out of range, which means that Puma has, well, I would say the run of the field.
Yeah, he has pretty good. Yeah, he's definitely has a run of the field. He can. I mean, nice thing about the Puma is lovely mobility, so he can just kind of run around here and there and get some shots off. We do have a DD tank coming in down south, so maybe if he can position himself in like his more middle area and try to get a flank on the DD, because in a head-on fight, even though it has the veterancy, it's not exactly an ideal scenario.
Frankly, I feel like none of the Axis divisions though really have any sort of ideal situation in early vehicle engagements.
Second Panzer?
Okay,
you got two
one.
Panzer IVs. It's just it's weird for Axis because like A phase is all like really light vehicle play for the most part. It's only like what, Second Panzer Division that has like some actual decent stuff, and you got like Trophy SS and also First SS. Where Trophy SS has like the mean Firefly, and First SS actually has like some Stoogs, but it's all about using like AT guns and like Pumas and light vehicles and just trying to, you know, like Ghost Division it essentially. You're pretty much playing Rommel in France 1940 for the majority of Axis A phase, or you're literally just playing the French 1914 A phase with some Axis infantry divisions.
There's a whole lot of analogies. I wasn't sure I was going to
follow
all
don't know.
those.
Yeah, there's a lot of analogies too. I think I'm going to need an analogy for that whole analogy.
And the your metaphor is a little bit rambling, to be fair. 76mm, by the way, to the north does take out one of the approaching IG-18s, or at least took out the truck, kind of bringing it along, and some of the ATs actually going down. I imagine the Ranger Marauders to the north. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope, never mind. Wow, that was the 76mm.
Oh, he's in a ration of the rifles and get the surrender. Oh no, he is the leader unit nearby, so they're not going to run away.
Which is a good thing, considering, by the way, the Harry Spider does have nearly a +2 here, but he's expending an awful lot in the way of resources to grab it, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost quite a bit of infantry, but like Bavarians and land shoots are pretty expendable, to be honest. You can just kind of like, you know, throw him away. I mean, once he faces it, he's got like Panda Grenadiers, which are going to be the real mainstay. But down in the south is really rare, you know, where the money is being made. As he has the hangars, he has the Puma in a lovely spot, as they can just kind of like shoot anything that comes close and then just back up behind the tree line. He just needs, I mean, it's going to be B-phase shortly, but he just needs some better long-range
look
weaponry.
at that smoke. Oof. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's a good smoke. Really does not like that Puma. Understandable.
Well, he would have had eyes on those Ranger Marauders in just about a second and a half, and he would have been able just to completely, totally wreck them.
Yeah.
Now forced to give ground. Will these field gendarmerie see them? Probably not.
Nope.
Probably not.
Oh, the Bavarians are, yo. And they're getting in close.
Yep. Yep. he had to know there was something else coming in.
Yeah.
Puma, in the meantime, decides to start throwing away some blood up to the north. DD tank. Oh, wow. He's almost out of 50 cal already. And the Bavarians, yeah. The Bavarians are not going to take any of that line down. We're 45 seconds away from that phase B. What are we going to be looking at? Well, other than the 188 coming back in, just completely and totally Shrek the north.
Oh, yeah. Let's see that happen. For 2nd Infantry, more tanks, more infantry. Probably some heavy artillery pieces. For Paris, it's all just, you know, everything, essentially. Just a little bit of everything, you know. But you really just need the long-range weaponry, hopefully like a Mortaron, pack track or something along those lines.
Well, one thing he definitely needs for sure is another anti-tank gun or something to the north, because that's the other DD tank coming on in, so there's no more vehicles, really. For the Americans... Oh, Pack 40's here in the south. Okay. Just barely out of range, though.
Oh, well, they get a Pack 40 in A-phase, don't they?
Yes, they do.
I completely forgot about it. That's actually a pretty good AT weapon to have an A-phase.
But past that, not very much. Now we are into Phase B, and we have both Martyr 1s and Martyr 3s coming in. In fact, we have a brace of them coming to the north. Yeah. Which is 100% necessary.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need them. And using these longer-range AT vehicles... I mean, he needs them. He doesn't get very much. It's like 1 Martyr 3, 1 Martyr 1, a little pack track, and I believe that's really it. I mean, you can get like a Sturgeon Panther 4, but they're not going to be all that useful on this type of map.
And meanwhile, there's more DD tanks coming on in for the Americans here. Now, rifles to the north, I continue to be surprised that we are not seeing any Ranger play.
Same. I mean, even just like having a range to support. I mean, okay, it's a Ranger Assault being brought in up north, but like a range to support unit, you know, backing up the rifles definitely help out. Especially considering these Bavarians actually taking pretty good ground and fighting tooth and nail up north.
I keep waiting for this command car to get blown up by the IG-18. It's like a scene out of like a bad spy movie.
It's like they shoot the spy, but all the guards miss because they're terrible henchmen.
Well, it's like plot armor, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We have another 188. The 188's been going hot and heavy consistently here. He's using that pretty much on cooldown all the time, and I have to say, it's working rather well. He's definitely keeping the Americans at bay, stressing things out completely, and the entire Kampfgruppe, to use the German term for it, the Americans just it can't go anywhere.
Yeah. And that's the lovely thing about Paris. You can get a lot of those 188s, and they're so good at just stopping a push. They've been nerfed a little bit since, well, rightfully nerfed, because getting 1 per minute was a bit ridiculous. But they're still a really good aeroplane to just rip out, because, you know, you're being pushed run flank. If you just bring in the Ju-188, he solves all your problem. He's like flex tape. You just slap it on and solves everything.
We'll call him the Teflon Avenger. How
Teflon Avenger.
There we go. Another Pack 40 coming in the south. Definitely looking to keep back that Sherman, and it looks like the Puma is trying to get eyes on, but the smoke's keeping him out of sight for right now. Instead, he's going to content himself by throwing rounds downrange at that mortar team.
Yeah, that's a lot of like smoke back and forth on his southern side. Was that the 50mm smoke in the Sherman?
Yes, it was. And he's actually completely out of ammunition. He's got nothing left. So that is a great mortar right there. If you run out of munitions for both sides, that's ideal.
That's a good problem to have.
Meanwhile, to the North, Ranger Assault might go and completely push back this entire shove by himself. then realizes that being outnumbered, 3 or 4 to 1 is probably not the healthiest place to be.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, the M38. He's gonna take him on the flank. Here we go. Get in there. Get in there. Yes, he's got him. He's in right behind him.
Oh yeah, he's buggered. GG. I think down south, the Puma's getting some shots off on the DD tank.
Tracks and wheels.
Yeah, the armor of DD is a little bit too thick for Mr. Puma here. Oh wow, never mind. There we go.
He's only 600 meters away.
Oh, that's only 600. Okay, I thought that was a little bit farther. But damn, that's a good kill. And is he gonna push now with the Puma?
Nah, I'd pull back. You have to know there's more tanks coming on in, and almost as if he's realizing that already. Wait, weapons jammed. How'd that weapon? Oh, Martyrs to the north. Never mind. Yeah. It's so weird seeing the Martyr 1. I'm so used to seeing that silhouette for the Martyr 3.
It's such a like funky, goofy looking unit. If you zoom in the Martyr run, it's like playing with big head mode on and like.
DK, yeah.
Or like DK or something like that. It just doesn't look natural.
No, it does not.
Yeah.
No, it does not. Excuse me, I had to kind of clear my throat there for a second.
It's cool.
Whew. Alrighty. Sorry about that, folks. But the Humble's coming on in, of course, so there's a tune to be sung, and he is ready to go. We have more recon coming in as well. I don't know if the recon's being brought in because they want the half tracks, or if he just wants to bring in some more eyes. I can't imagine it's for the eyes.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs some eyes on. And also they contain Spar troops, 2 star Spar troops, which are pretty decent infantry in fighting on open ground, because they actually have a proper machine gun.
Lenda shoots in over here, by the way, right by that center DD tank. They're waiting for the whites of their eyes.
Yeah. And
they get it. Good Lord knows they're not going to be there very long.
Ooh. If they only had AT grenades.
Oh, wait. Oh, my gosh. The Puma's down, but the Pac 40 takes out a second DD tank to the south.
Oh damn!
There's no Puma. And Landesschützen. Okay, he's just trying to slow him up. Okay, this kind of makes sense. It's a little bit unwieldy, and there's another 188 strike to push back the Sherman.
Oh, actually, no, he's.
Oh no, he's going for 76, isn't he?
Yeah, but here comes Gabby.
I hate that guy.
Oh, come on, Gabs. Oh, the J88's firing back. Yes, he has a pretty decent defensive element for Bomber in this game, but I think Gabby's gotten.
No, unless there's some strange miracle, the 188's going down.
Nope. There we go. Gabby claims another. And that would be a time to invest in AA.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was going to say. The second thing I was going to say, though, is that I kind of feel like the models for the fighters are a teensy bit big, but maybe I'm a little wrong on that.
P-47 is like a massive aircraft. Like it's a really big aircraft, the P-47.
Okay, fair enough then. Pac 40 in the south, of course, taking shots from that 107. Supply ducts coming in to get those mortars back on the field, and the same way the 188s were keeping the Gross Paris up and ready to go. Oh, the same thing is happening for the 2nd Infantry. That's the only thing keeping Oceans on riding on high tide.
Yeah, but what's happened is Oceans has lost the range advantage. His DD tanks can't, they can't fight Martyrs at 1.2 kilometer ranges. I think in B phase you can get Wolverines. For 2nd Infantry, I'm fairly certain.
It's only a couple of them, though. I think it's only a 2-card.
But yeah, definitely be something you'd need on a map like this. You'd need all the Wolverines on a map like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure Hugh Jackman really wants to be out here right now, though. No. Looks like one more shot for this Pac 40. Oh, no, he's not going to get that tank just yet.
Nope.
But there's a Shrek team right there. So they can push back these rifles. That Shrek team's going to go in, and it's going to be a very, very dead Sherman.
If the Kriegsmarine Führer can actually fire. There we go.
Oh, for that matter, too, there's that Martyr 3 is right there. Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't really feel like we see the Kriegsmarine very often.
No, we don't. It's always so funny because, you play like a World War II game, and like a game like this, like, alright, cool, I'm going to use Kriegsmarine Infantry, says no one ever. But Steel Division has that. And it's actually a pretty viable unit. I know, it's just so funny. Like, I can't think of any other game that has, like, Kriegsmarine Infantry in it. Maybe, like, some close combat mod, but I can't think of anything, man.
Wait, are they going to try to kill the tank, or are they going to try just to force a surrender? Because that'd be hysterical.
The surrounding the tanks, this is like...
Are always
Yeah.
Say hello from the Russian front. He's taking him out, and good lord, I didn't even see this. Spider's got a +3. I would not be surprised if we see a very, very quick tap out.
Yeah.
There are barely any tanks left for the Americans. There's barely any anti-tank as well, so the guns are going down. That is one of them. That's true. But the Opal Blitz is coming on in, and I think that's another ROA squad.
Yeah, most likely.
Yep, and those guys are sick nasty at this range.
Yeah, what really happened if to Oceans or Potts is he just did not hold that range advantage, and now the Hummel's in the field. 76mm guns, which is his run, True Hope, are pretty much useless as the Hummel doesn't care. It just blows you up if you have no armor. And even if you do have armor, the Hummel will try and blow you up, because that's what the Hummel does.
I like how the 188 comes onto the field and immediately retreats. What a brave man.
Yeah. He's just popping in, seeing how the war's going.
Well, yeah, one little quick run.
He dropped the bombs, before he reaches back to base and said, yes, he's done his job.
Yeah, I was in the combat zone. I get combat pay.
I counted the combat flight. I can put it on my logbook.
But yes, 2-1 KD in favor of the hairy spider, and that picture is very unsettling to me.
That is definitely a very hairy spider.
And Potts, in the meantime, well, let's just say he never had a friend like him.
Yeah, looking at the kills, I mean, really major damage dealer was the 76 and the mortar, but I'm really surprised Potts didn't manage to kill that much. I mean, really, the big kills was the 188 Marder and Puma, which really accounts for half the points of stuff. And looking at losses, the Puma did pretty good. Killed 1 DD, which is definitely a pretty good kill on a map like that. And pretty shared apart from that. And, it's really B-Phase Paris went pretty strong. And you have that open ground and great open ground engagement advantage.
Open gowns indeed.
Yeah,
what was her name, right?
Open gown. Words are hard. They're very hard. But I'm sure you can get Wolverines and B-Phase for 2nd Infantry. I might be wrong, but Potts just needed something a bit extra to help him out in the open ground.
That sounds about right. But folks, what we are going to do is we're going to call this one quits for right now, so Ranking find his tongue and I can stop tripping over it. We'll be back on Thursday, I think, going to the European Veteran Division. But more of that in a couple of days. So for right now, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.